Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I love playing Vayne. Pretty much everybody on the channel knows that by now. So every patch I dust off my Soul Stealer skin that I spent way too much money on to see if she's better, and for once, finally, I actually didn't get boned. She's definitely like the Yasuo of least innovative carries, right? But she is so much better in 7.9 and there are a bunch of reasons why. So that's what this video is for. I'm going to deliberately make this a shorter video and to the point, but release a gameplay later today to kind of show you this stuff in action. So make sure you look out for that. Now I think there are 6 differences from the last patch that are buffing her indirectly at least, so we're going to go over those and then what builds and stuff you really should be using now. So the first thing and the biggest thing are the SHIV buffs. So static SHIV is like the perfect item for Vayne anyway, and when it used to be really strong, so was Vayne. It fixes 2 major things for her that she's really missing in her kit. So the first one is wave clear. You farm so much faster with a SHIV, you wave clear faster and you can move around the map a lot more because of that. And it's also the burst damage which kind of fixes that problem. Like the lightning damage is a lot, especially later. It adds what your kit doesn't have naturally basically. The second thing is crit is now cheaper. Vayne's biggest weakness is early game actually, and that's kind of an understatement. After 3 items, her win rate jumps to about 60% on good players, but before that it struggles to even hit 50% on average ones. That is why Vayne's overall win rate is never that high on stat websites. Bad players are going to drag that down to start with, and then sometimes you do just get railed early before you can do anything. The game ends too fast, even for good players. This really does help with that. The cheaper crit means that you need a kills worth less gold to hit your build than before, and I'd definitely take that. The third thing is the DORAN'S shield start. So for very hard matchups, you basically just got screwed completely out of the game as Vayne. You've kind of got this new start to help with that, really. Like I've been trying this against Caitlyn and a poke support mostly. With Caitlyn alone, it doesn't always make you go shield, but you legit take no damage. It's kind of funny. Most of the players will auto attack you every now and again, proccing the passive healing as well, so you heal for more, but I legit just let Caitlyn slap me about, and I didn't even use both of my potions in the lane phase. It's not ideal for sure. DORAN'S Blade is better for the mid game, but it's so good at keeping you farming at least in the lane phase. The tank item changes are also another thing. We have the Gargoyle Stone Plate, which increases health by a ton, but there's also more armor now in the game on items. We don't care about both of these because of our true damage and our percentage health damage. It's basically like a natural answer to the tank buffs that just came out. The last 2 things are item changes. So Guardian Angel buffs, which is kind of leading on from the tank stuff actually. Vayne has a lot of damage packed into a kit without needing many items actually. Sure, the items are a really good boost, but her W is really big damage, like her tumble plus ultimate AD, and even the SHIV procs can help. That means that we can get Guardian Angel 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever and still do a lot of damage, more than most other AD carries who need to get this item early. The way you want to think about it is we can still do good damage but have that safety net there as well at less of a cost than other AD carries. The rapid fire cannon changes are the last one. We run Warlords and SHIV, so the rapid fire changes to get them 25% faster is really cool. I've tested this a few times in game and I really like it actually. You would be surprised how much more you'll heal for and how much lightning you'll get out. Losing Phantom Dancer in the build is actually a shame. It's really good, but it's a price you can pay if you want to heal more and you want to burst more. So those are the changes. I think it's kind of important to understand why a champion is good, but what should you actually be building now and stuff like that. So to start with, you have 2 options, right? And DORAN'S Blade is going to be most of the time. The lifesteal is normally enough, and it's good to heal with the mid game as well if you crit for a lot. The DORAN'S shield, as we said, for really hard lanes. You have 2 potions instead of 1, plus a lot of passive healing as well. You're going to be able to farm even under a lot of pressure, especially with Warlords, and the big thing is you don't even need to hit minions to actually lifesteal back. It's going to passively regen your health. After that, BF sword into Zeal to start with. It gives you a really good lane phase, and you'll be able to fight once you hit level 6, which is a big spike for Vayne. The AD from the BF sword is key to trading, by the way, with your Q, especially as most people are going to max this first. Very quickly, actually, skill order. W max is better mid-game DPS, but the Q max is a better lane phase and more stealth from your ultimate and better kiting as well. Now, in my opinion, it is definitely worth it, but it is also personal preference. Both are good. So if you max your W, you don't have to get the BF sword first. You can do, but you don't have to. SHIV is going to be after that, so you have wave clear now, decent burst damage, and added attack speed for your W damage as well. It's really ideal, by the way, to just queue in with SHIV proc to do a lot of damage here with the tumble damage on top. Infinity Edge after that, so you have bigger crits, bigger burst damage, more AD into your Q, but also from the SHIV. Remember a really big thing about the SHIV, it gets better as the game goes on because it can crit. The lightning damage can, I mean. With Infinity Edge, that is 250% damage on the lightning if it crits, and suddenly you start to really hurt and you start to really burst. Once we have those 2 items, Phantom Dancer is way more common right now, 3rd. It's also the default from last patch though, but Rapid Fire would also be really good. Phantom Dancer is more W damage. I think it also lets you survive somebody diving onto you a lot easier, like if you have a bruiser diving on you. Rapid Fire Cannon is going to be more SHIV damage though, and better versus lower health targets because of that burst damage. It's definitely more burst and healing over a fight. I would say give both a try, see what you prefer, but I think Rapid Fire Rapid-Fire Cannon will become more popular as time goes on at least, but Phantom Dancer is never wrong. Bloodthirster is the lifesteal item of choice in this sort of build, like much more than Blade, which is the most common mistake Vayne players actually make. Blade is more attack speed in this kind of build. You don't really need it though. The 100 magic damage as well active if you're buying this 4th is also pretty crap. The only good thing about this is the percentage damage, which you already have, so you don't really need it as much of other ADs. Bloodthirster though is more AD, which means bigger crits, is much more useful than the attack speed you get on the Blade because you don't really need any more. You have a big shield to start a fight. It lets you survive more than that move speed from Blade would, so it's better that way, and also it's 5% more lifesteal as well. It's even more healing, and that 5% is going to make a good difference when you crit for like 1,000 damage. Finally, then we need some kind of defense normally, and Guardian Angel, as we said before, is not optimal, but if you're facing down burst damage that has a long cooldown, so like Syndra or Annie, or someone just super fed like a Zed or Master Yi, then this is pretty good as a 4th, a 5th, or even a 3rd item, to be honest. Mercurial Scimitar is also really good as an item on Vayne, a defensive item against heavy crowd control teams. It's much better 4th or 5th though, like not really 3rd. The difference here between this and Guardian Angel, which I said you could get 3rd, is this one is expensive. It delays the rest of your build too much. Mastery wise, it would still be Warlords, but 18-0-12 I think now for most games. Going into the resolve tree means you can get the 50 extra health or better healing from Warlords and lifesteal, plus you can get your flash and heal cooldowns lowered, or even fearless. Now anyway, I said I wouldn't make this too long, so I'm not going to ramble any further. That's basically everything you need to know about playing Vayne in 7.9, or at least everything that's different and why she's a lot better in my opinion. Thank you for watching until the very end. I really appreciate it. Feel free to check out some of the videos on screen, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.